Imagine a world where the veil between our reality and the spiritual realm is getting thinner by the day. That's not just a fantasy, it's happening right now, all around us. The ancient prophecy of the seal is coming true, but most people are missing the signs. These hidden messages from the universe could completely change how we see life, spirituality, and our place in the world. That seal isn't just some old story, it's a key that could unlock the secrets of our existence. Here's the thing, if we don't start paying attention to these signs soon, we might miss out on the biggest spiritual awakening in human history. This isn't just about feeling good or finding inner peace, it's about understanding the very fabric of reality. By ignoring these signs, we're basically sleepwalking through one of the most important times in spiritual history. It's like having a winning lottery ticket and forgetting to check the numbers. We need to wake up, open our eyes, and start seeing what's really going on around us. So, what exactly is this seal we're talking about? It's not a stamp or a symbol, it's more like a promise from the universe. The idea of the seal has been around for thousands of years, showing up in all kinds of spiritual texts and traditions. It's like a cosmic contract between humanity and the spiritual world. For a long time, it was just an idea, a hope for the future. But now, the signs are showing us that the seal is becoming real. It's like the universe is finally cashing in on its promise to us. The seal isn't about one specific religion or belief system. It's bigger than that. It's about a fundamental shift in how the spiritual and physical worlds connect. Imagine if you could suddenly see the invisible threads that tie everything together. That's what the seal is all about. It's like the universe is opening up, showing us how everything is connected. In ancient texts, the seal was often described as a time when the barriers between our world and the spiritual realm would start to break down. It wasn't supposed to happen all at once, but gradually, with signs appearing over time. That's exactly what we're seeing now. These signs aren't big, dramatic events like you might see in a movie. They're subtle, easy to miss if you're not paying attention. But once you start noticing them, you'll see them everywhere. That seal isn't just about seeing cool spiritual stuff, though. It's about a deep change in how we understand the world and ourselves. It's like we've been living in a house our whole lives, and suddenly we're discovering hidden rooms we never knew existed. These new spaces, these new understandings, can completely change how we live our lives. Some people think that seal is about the end of the world, but that's not right. It's more like the end of one way of seeing the world and the beginning of a new one. It's not about destruction, but transformation. The world isn't ending, it's evolving, and we're all part of that process. The signs of the seal are showing up in nature, in society, and even in our own lives. They're like little winks from the universe, telling us that something big is happening. But because these signs are often subtle, a lot of people are missing them. They're too caught up in their daily lives, too focused on the physical world to notice the spiritual changes happening all around them. That's why it's so important to start paying attention now. The seal isn't waiting for us to be ready. It's happening whether we notice it or not. By learning to see these signs, we're not just watching history happen, we're actively participating in it. We're becoming part of this huge spiritual shift. Think about it like this. Have you ever had a moment where everything suddenly seemed clear? Like you could see how all the pieces of your life fit together? That's a tiny taste of what the seal is bringing. But instead of just being a brief moment, it's a whole new way of living. That seal isn't just changing the world around us, it's changing us, too. As we start to notice these signs, we might find ourselves becoming more intuitive, more connected to others and to nature. We might start to understand things that never made sense before. It's like we're all leveling up in a cosmic video game. But here's the catch, that seal isn't going to force itself on anyone. It's not going to grab us by the shoulders and shake us until we pay attention. It's more like a whisper, a gentle invitation to see the world in a new way. That's why it's so easy to miss if we're not looking for it. So, how do we start seeing these signs? It starts with being open to the possibility that there's more to the world than what we can see with our eyes. It's about listening to our intuition, paying attention to those little coincidences that seem too perfect to be random. It's about looking at the world with wonder, like a child seeing everything for the first time. As we go through the different signs of the seal, remember that these aren't just random events. They're all connected, all part of a bigger picture. It's like we're putting together a huge puzzle, and each sign is another piece that helps us see the whole image. That seal isn't just happening out there in the world, it's happening inside each of us, too. As we become more aware of these signs, we might start to notice changes in ourselves. Maybe we'll feel more connected to others, or find it easier to understand complex ideas. We might discover talents or abilities we never knew we had. This isn't about becoming superhuman or gaining magical powers. It's about becoming more fully human, more in tune with the world around us and the spiritual realities that have always been there, just out of sight. That seal is like a key that's unlocking our full potential as spiritual beings. But with this new awareness comes responsibility. As we start to see these signs and understand what they mean, we have a duty to share this knowledge with others. Not by preaching or trying to convert people, but by living in a way that reflects this new understanding. By being more compassionate, more aware, more in tune with the world around us. The signs of the seal are like breadcrumbs leading us to a greater truth. Each one might seem small or insignificant on its own, but when we put them all together, they create a map to a new way of being. It's up to us to follow these signs, to see where they lead us. As we explore these signs, keep an open mind. Some might resonate with you right away, while others might take time to understand. That's okay. That seal isn't a one-size-fits-all experience. It's a personal journey for each of us, even as it's changing the world as a whole. The goal isn't to become obsessed with looking for signs or to ignore the practical aspects of life. It's about finding a balance, about living in the physical world while being aware of the spiritual realities around us. That seal isn't asking us to leave the world behind, it's inviting us to see the world more fully, more deeply than ever before. As we go through each sign, think about how it might be showing up in your own life. Have you noticed any of these things happening around you? Have you felt any of these changes within yourself? The more personal we can make this journey, the more meaningful it becomes. That seal isn't just a concept or a prophecy, it's a living, evolving reality that we're all part of. By paying attention to these signs, we're not just passive observers. We're active participants in one of the biggest spiritual shifts in human history. That's both exciting and a little scary, but it's a journey worth taking. So, are you ready to open your eyes and see what's really happening around you? Are you ready to be part of this amazing change? Let's explore the signs of the seal together and discover what they mean for each of us and for the world as a whole. Let's talk about the first big sign that the seal is real and happening right now. It's all around us in nature, but most people walk right past it without noticing. Have you seen how the weather's been acting strange lately? It's not just about global warming. There's something deeper going on. Animals are behaving in ways we've never seen before. Birds are changing their migration patterns. Whales are singing new songs. Bees are disappearing from some places and showing up in others where they've never been before. It's like the animals know something big is happening, and they're getting ready for it. But it's not just the animals. Plants are changing too. Flowers are blooming at odd times. Trees are growing in new shapes. Some plants that used to be rare are suddenly popping up everywhere. It's like the whole natural world is trying to tell us something. Now, you might think this is just random chance or climate change. But here's the thing. It's all happening at the same time, all over the world. It's too big to be a coincidence. That seal is showing itself through nature, trying to wake us up to the big changes that are coming. Think about the last time you went for a walk in nature. Did you notice anything unusual? Maybe a butterfly landed right in front of you and stayed there longer than normal. Or maybe you saw a rainbow on a day when there wasn't any rain. These might seem like small things, but they're all part of the bigger picture. The Earth itself is changing too. We're seeing more earthquakes in places that never used to have them. Volcanoes that have been quiet for centuries are waking up. Even the magnetic poles of the Earth are shifting faster than ever before. It's like the planet is getting ready for something big. All of these changes in nature are like a giant alarm clock, trying to wake us up to the spiritual reality that's always been there. The seal is using the natural world to show us that everything is connected. The lines between the physical and spiritual worlds are starting to blur. So next time you're outside, really look around. Pay attention to the little things. That weird cloud shape, the way the wind feels on your skin, the sudden appearance of an animal you've never seen before in your area. These aren't just random events. They're messages, signs that the seal is real and it's happening now. Now, let's move on to the second big sign of the seal. This one's happening inside us, in our minds and hearts. More and more people are waking up to a new way of thinking and feeling. It's like a wave of awareness is sweeping across the world. Have you noticed how many people are suddenly interested in meditation, yoga, and other spiritual practices? It's not just a trend. People everywhere are feeling a pull towards something deeper. They're looking for answers to big questions about life, the universe, and why we're here. This great awakening isn't just about feeling good or finding peace. It's about a fundamental shift in how we see the world and ourselves. People are starting to realize that we're all connected, not just to each other, but to everything in the universe. It's like we're all waking up from a long dream and seeing reality for the first time. One big part of this awakening is that people are becoming more intuitive. Maybe you've experienced this yourself. Suddenly, you just know things without being told. You can sense what others are feeling. You have dreams that come true. These aren't just coincidences. They're signs that our spiritual senses are waking up. Another aspect of this awakening is a growing sense of compassion. People are caring more about others, even strangers on the other side of the world. We're seeing more volunteers, more charity work, more people standing up for what's right. It's like the heart of humanity is growing bigger. This awakening is also changing how we think about time. More and more people are living in the present moment, instead of always worrying about the future or regretting the past. Time feels different, like it's speeding up and slowing down at the same time. This is all part of the seal of changing how we experience reality. Even science is starting to catch up with what spiritual teachers have been saying for thousands of years. Quantum physics is showing us that everything is connected, that consciousness affects reality. This meeting of science and spirituality is another clear sign that the seal is bringing big changes. But here's the thing, this awakening isn't always easy. As people wake up, they often go through a tough time first. Old beliefs fall away. Relationships change. It can feel scary and lonely. But this is all part of the process. That seal is pushing us to grow, to become more than we were before. So if you've been feeling different lately, if you're questioning things you used to take for granted, if you're drawn to new ideas and experiences, know that you're not alone. You're part of this great awakening. You're experiencing the seals firsthand. The third sign of the seal is the trickiest to spot, but once you see it, you can't unsee it. It's all about the invisible becoming visible. We're talking about energies, auras, and spiritual realities that have always been there, but that most people couldn't perceive before. More and more people are starting to see auras, the energy fields around living things. It might start as a faint glow or a shimmer in the air. Some people see colors, others just sense a presence. This isn't just imagination. It's our spiritual senses waking up, allowing us to perceive what's always been there. Strange lights in the sky are being reported more often. These aren't just UFOs in the traditional sense. Some of these lights seem to respond to people's thoughts. They appear and disappear in ways that defy normal explanation. It's like the barrier between dimensions is getting thinner, allowing us glimpses of other realities. People are also experiencing more synchronicities, those amazing coincidences that seem too perfect to be random. You think of someone and they call you right away. You keep seeing the same number everywhere you look. A book falls open to exactly the page you need to read. These synchronicities are signs that we're more connected to the flow of the universe than we realized. Another aspect of this invisible world becoming visible is the increase in reported ghost sightings and paranormal experiences. Whether you believe in ghosts or not, the fact is that more people are having experiences they can't explain. It's like the veil between our world and the spirit world is getting thinner. Even in the world of technology, strange things are happening. People are capturing unexplainable images on their phones and cameras. Weird glitches in electronics are becoming more common. It's like our devices are picking up on energies and realities they weren't designed to detect. Some people are developing abilities they never had before. Suddenly being able to sense what others are feeling, knowing things without being told, or even moving objects with their mind. These aren't superpowers like in the movies. They're subtle abilities that are becoming more common as the field progresses. Dreams are becoming more vivid and meaningful for many people. Some are having shared dreams, where they meet others in a dream world. Others are receiving messages or predictions in their dreams that come true. It's like our dream life is becoming as real and important as our waking life. Even the way we perceive time is changing. Many people report experiencing time slips, where they lose track of time or experience time moving at different speeds. Some even describe moments of seeing past or future events. It's like that seal is loosening the rigid structure of time as we know it. All of these experiences, seeing auras, strange lights, increased synchronicities, paranormal encounters, new abilities, vivid dreams, and time anomalies, are signs that the invisible is becoming visible. That seal is lifting the veil that has hidden these realities from us for so long. Now, it's important to remember that not everyone will experience all of these things. That seal affects each person differently. You might resonate strongly with some of these signs and not at all with others. That's okay. The key is to stay open and aware, to pay attention to the subtle changes in your perception and experiences. As more people start to perceive these hidden realities, it's changing how we understand the world. We're realizing that there's so much more to existence than what we can see with our physical eyes or measure with our current technology. That seal is expanding our understanding of what's possible. This shift in perception isn't just about seeing cool stuff. It's about understanding our place in a much bigger, more complex universe. As we become aware of these other realities, we start to see how interconnected everything really is. We realize that our thoughts, feelings, and actions have a much bigger impact than we ever imagined. So, keep your eyes open, not just your physical eyes, but your spiritual eyes too. Pay attention to those moments when something seems a little off, a little magical, a little unexplainable. Those moments are glimpses of the greater reality that the seal is revealing to us. Remember, the goal isn't to chase after these experiences or to ignore the physical world. It's about finding a balance, about living with one foot in the physical world and one in the spiritual. As the seal progresses, this balance will become more natural, more a part of our everyday lives. Now, you might be wondering, if all these amazing things are happening, why isn't everyone talking about it? Why aren't these signs of the seal making headlines everywhere? Well, there are a few reasons why most people are missing what's right in front of them. First, we're all so busy with our day-to-day lives that we don't take the time to really look around us. We're rushing from one thing to the next, heads down, focused on our phones or our to-do lists. We're so caught up in the little details of life that we miss the big picture. Another reason is that we've been taught to ignore these kinds of experiences. From a young age, most of us are told that anything supernatural or spiritual isn't real. We're taught to trust only what we can see and touch, or what science can measure. So when we do experience something unusual, we often brush it off or explain it away. Fear is another big factor. Some people might notice these signs but be afraid to talk about them. They worry that others will think they're crazy or make fun of them. It's easier to pretend everything is normal than to risk standing out or being ridiculed. Our modern world is also full of distractions. There's always a new show to watch, a new game to play, or a new crisis in the news to worry about. These constant distractions keep us from noticing the subtle changes happening around and within us. Many people are also stuck in old ways of thinking. They have a fixed idea of how the world works, and anything that doesn't fit into that worldview gets ignored or dismissed. It's like they're wearing blinders that keep them from seeing the full picture. The media plays a role too. Mainstream news rarely covers these kinds of spiritual or unexplained events. And when they do, it's often presented as a joke or a curiosity, not as something serious or meaningful. Lastly, some people might notice these signs but not understand what they mean. They might see the pieces but not know how to put the puzzle together. Without the concept of the seal, these experiences might seem random or disconnected. So, how can we start seeing these signs that so many are missing? It's not about having special powers or being some kind of chosen one. It's about changing how we look at the world. Here are some ways to open your eyes to the signs of the seal. First, slow down. Take time each day to just be present in the moment. Look around you, really look, without judgment or expectation. You might be surprised at what you start to notice. Practice mindfulness. This doesn't have to mean hours of meditation, though that can help. It can be as simple as taking a few deep breaths and focusing on your senses. What do you see, hear, feel, smell, taste? This heightened awareness can help you notice the subtle signs of the seal. Keep an open mind. When something unusual happens, resist the urge to immediately explain it away. Allow yourself to wonder, to consider possibilities beyond your usual way of thinking. Trust your intuition. We all have an inner voice, a gut feeling. In our logical world, we often ignore it. But as the seal progresses, this intuition is becoming stronger and more important. Learn to listen to it. Connect with nature. Spend time outdoors, away from technology. Nature is one of the clearest channels for the signs of the seal. Whether it's a park in the city or a deep forest, nature can help attune you to these changes. Pay attention to your dreams. Keep a dream journal. Look for patterns or symbols that repeat. Your dreams might be showing you aspects of the seal that your waking mind isn't ready to perceive yet. Talk to others. Share your experiences and listen to theirs. You might find that many people are noticing similar things but have been afraid to speak up. Creating a community can help validate and expand your understanding. Study different spiritual traditions. The seal isn't tied to any one religion, but many traditions have described similar concepts. Learning about these can give you a framework for understanding your own experiences. Practice energy awareness. Try to sense the energy of people, places, or objects around you. This might feel silly at first, but with practice, you may start to perceive the energy fields that have always been there. Stay grounded. While opening yourself to these new perceptions, it's important to stay connected to the physical world. Eat well, exercise, spend time with loved ones. This balance will help you integrate the signs of the seal into your daily life. As more and more people start to recognize and understand the signs of the seal, we can expect some big changes in our world. These aren't just personal changes, but shifts that could affect all of humanity and even the planet itself. One of the biggest changes we might see is a shift in consciousness. As people become more aware of the interconnectedness of all things, we could see a move towards more compassion and cooperation. Imagine a world where people naturally consider the greater good, not just their own interests. We might also see advancements in science and technology that seem almost magical by today's standards. As we understand more about the nature of reality and consciousness, we could develop new ways of healing, communicating, and even traveling. The way we relate to the environment could change dramatically. As we become more attuned to the living energy of the planet, we might develop more sustainable ways of living that work in harmony with nature rather than against it. Our understanding of time and space might shift. We could develop a more fluid relationship with time, or even gain the ability to perceive multiple dimensions. This could completely change how we view life, death, and the nature of existence. We might see the emergence of new forms of spirituality that blend ancient wisdom with modern understanding. These could offer ways of connecting with the divine that are more direct and personal than traditional religions. Education could transform to include teaching about energy, consciousness, and spiritual realities alongside traditional subjects. Imagine schools that nurture not just the mind, but the spirit as well. We could see changes in how we govern ourselves. As people become more intuitive and connected, we might develop new forms of decision-making that are more collaborative and in tune with the greater good. Health and medicine could undergo a revolution. We might see healing practices that work with the body's energy field, or treatments that address the root spiritual causes of illness rather than just the physical symptoms. Art and creativity could explode in new directions as people tap into higher levels of inspiration. We might see new forms of art that engage multiple senses or even communicate directly from one consciousness to another. Ultimately, the signs of the seal point to a future where the barriers between the physical and spiritual worlds are much thinner. This doesn't mean leaving the material world behind, but rather integrating the spiritual into our everyday lives in profound and beautiful ways. The seal isn't just an abstract concept or a far-off prophecy. It's happening right now, all around us and within us. The signs are there for those who are willing to see them. From the whispers of nature to the great awakening of human consciousness, from the invisible becoming visible to the promise of a transformed future, the seal is inviting us to a new way of being. But remember, this isn't something that's being done to us. We're active participants in this great shift. Each time we notice a sign, each time we open our hearts and minds to new possibilities, we're helping to bring that seal into fuller manifestation. This journey isn't always easy. It can be confusing, even frightening at times. But it's also filled with wonder, joy, and the promise of a more connected, compassionate, and spiritually alive world. So keep your eyes open. Pay attention to the little miracles in your daily life. Trust your experiences, even when they don't fit into your old way of seeing the world. Share your stories with others. You're not alone in this. That seal is calling us all to wake up, to see the magic and mystery that's always been there. It's inviting us to step into a new chapter of human history, where the spiritual and physical dance together in harmony. Are you ready to answer that call? Are you ready to open your eyes and see the world anew? The signs of the seal are all around us. It's time to look, to listen, and to embrace the amazing journey that lies ahead.